Hello, and welcome to the Melanated Veteran Podcast. I'm your host, Miss Mesha, and before we begin, the first order of business is to share, like, and subscribe to the Melanated Veteran. We're on almost all major platforms: iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeart, YouTube, Spotify, and many more. Don't forget to check out our website at www.themelanatedveteran.com. So today our guest is someone who I feel is a force to be reckoned with. She's been a Houston lawyer. She's a judge advocate, and she proceeds over the Veterans Court, and is Harris County Judge at Law 3, who is, to me, is so many good things about this lady. I've heard many people talk about how she's just and fair, and I'm very thankful for her to be here. Please welcome Judge Erica Hughes.
Thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate being a part of the podcast, and definitely glad to be a part of the veteran community as a whole, but specifically in Texas and Harris County. So thank you, Commission, for doing this show, and thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yes, of course, of course. And like I said, when I found out that you were a veteran, I was like, oh, I have to have her on here. Like, I have to. So let's get started. So, how long were you in the military, and what branch?
Army, cool. For everybody out there listening, that's Army. I joined the military in 2014, and I am currently this year no longer in the military. I no longer serve.
Okay.
So 2015 till now, 5 years.
Okay. So what made you decide to join the military?
It's always been a desire since college. We had a really big ROTC in my high school and college. It just never seemed to happen for me. As far as time-wise, I was, I guess, consumed with going to college in a traditional way and then going right to law school. So it never really happened, but I always wanted to be a part of the military. A lot of my classmates, like I said, in college were in ROTC or in the officer candidate school while they were in college. So that was always an interest. It just never happened until I got older and got the opportunity after law school to join.
Okay. What were your thoughts like once you went into the boot camp? What was your thoughts when you went through the program to become an officer?
So I had worked previously, and I had my own place and space and had my own business at that time. So it was difficult to kind of leave that and establish kind of myself in the military, and I had already started my own business because previously you have your own space. Most people go, I guess, at a younger age when they enlist, and so they are pretty much starting out. They don't have things built up. It's kind of their first job, ideally. So since it was not my first job, that was a little difficult to leave everything that I had set up, my business, my family, my friends, and then the conditions were not what I was used to. Of course, I stayed in dorms in school for college, but it was just a different atmosphere from what I had gotten used to, having my own house and just kind of living in better conditions. So I was surprised by that.
Right. And I definitely understand. I came in late as well. And so for me, certain things, it was like, okay, I've already done this, I've dealt with this. So it's like, okay, let's, go ahead and get through the basic, get through everything. Where you have some who they're still young, they're still babies, not realizing, hey, you got to listen, do what you got to do.
Right. And then, so for me, it was JAG. So everybody was JAG that went in with me. So they were a little, I guess, a little more experienced. So So it wasn't
Mm.
the issue of maybe nobody following the rules or listening.
Mm.
Everybody seemed to be up to speed. It's kind of a term we'll say in the military. Everybody was up to speed. They follow directions for the most part. You'll have a few people that kind of want to do their own thing, but for the most part, everybody worked together, kind of understood the concept of teamwork, and they were on the same page as it relates to our class because they only take a certain amount of people. So it was a better experience to have classmates that were on the same page.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Definitely understand that. So, after you went through, the OCS and everything, um, what made you decide, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and continue with my law, do my law degree, and then what made you decide, while I'm out here, why not go ahead and go for judge?
So originally, when I went to the military, it is officer school, but they have a different program for JAG or for medical and attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a different program. So that is what made me originally interested in it because of the difference that they make for JAG or the specific MOS that you focus on that. So I wasn't taken away from my law career. I felt like I was adding to it
Mm-hmm.
by being able to practice law for the military.
Okay. All right. You became a judge. What was that experience like?
It was different to run. I had previously ran for judge in 2010,
Mm-hmm.
so 8 years prior to that. This time was different because it was a larger county. It was a different time period, of course, and then just the ability to be able, I guess, to be around people who had like-minded ideals because the place I originally ran was different as far as parties and support. And so here was a lot more support from other candidates running. And the whole process was surprising, but a lot of hard work, too, because it's such a large county to try to get everything done.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to congratulate you on, making, Harris County judge, judge at law 3. Like, that's something that's amazing, in that aspect of just that. Um, so you became a judge. Tell us a little bit about the Veterans Court. How did that come about?
So Veterans Court was started previously. It's a 5-year anniversary for my court. It's been in Harris County 10 years. Judge Mark Carter was previously on the bench. He's a veteran as well. He brought Veterans Court to Harris County and started it, and he started the process to get the funding for it because it costs money to be able to have Veterans Court and pay to maintain it. And so he was the person who bought the idea. Veterans Court was an idea in other parts of the country. The first one was in Buffalo, New York, in 2000. And so at this point, it's a new concept to everyone, ideally, and especially to Harris County. So 10 years ago, which would have been 2010, was when the first Veterans Court was brought to Harris County, and it was the first Veterans Court in the state of Texas. Harris County had. Now about 25 counties in Texas have a Veterans Court established for veterans because Texas has the second biggest population for the veteran community in the United States. So it's become a very popular idea here in Harris County and in other counties within Texas.
Okay. So how exactly did you get started with it?
So originally when I was running for judge, I knew that we had a Veterans Court and it was something that I was interested in. The individual who ran Veterans Court here lost their seat in Harris County, so there was no judge particularly for Veterans Court. So it could have possibly died out. There wouldn't have been a Veterans Court because there was no judge for it. Because you don't get paid additional money. You have to kind of take the extra job or volunteer to do it. So at that point, it was just nobody there to do it. And of course, I didn't want to see it go. I recognized the importance of it. and an opportunity to help our veterans. So then I wanted to do it, and so I contacted the individual who was leaving office and had lost the race, and he was very welcoming and allowed me to come on and kind of show me what he was doing and what it meant to be the judge for Veterans Court and the entire process. And after that, I just said, this is something that I have to do to keep doing it. And then all of my colleagues that ran for the bench, there's 16 courts like mine, they were on board with it. They voted for me to be it, and that was it. I got the job.
I've heard so many good things about the Veterans Court. And the one thing that I appreciate with you is how honest you're justified. You make sure that you give people that second chance, especially with us, with veterans, because there's a lot of us veterans out there that deal with, a lot of the different issues, mental issues and everything. So again, I want to thank you for that, because to me it's very important. Like it's important for us for people to know about this, know about the Veterans Court. Because I'll be honest, I didn't know anything about it.
Well, that's part of my, platform as well, is to do some marketing and PR so that people are aware that it is something that is happening in Harris County and available to veterans. Also, a pleasure and an honor because you're serving veterans still in this capacity as the Veterans Court judge, and it really is a good program to try to rehabilitate veterans and try to connect them to the resources that are available to them. A lot of them are unaware of those resources, and so it's really beneficial for veterans to be in the program. I really do enjoy it, and I welcome anyone in Harris County or anywhere to come and check Veterans Court out and see what is happening there and be a part of it. We always need mentors, and we always welcome people to come and see the veterans and what the program is doing for individuals.
Absolutely. So with everything that's going on right now, I've been seeing where you've been posting a lot about voting, making sure people vote. So for people that are undecided about whether or not they really want to vote, what advice would you give them?
My main advice would be to have a plan to vote. So pick a date that you're specifically knowing that you are going to go vote. And then I would say that you have to make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure you GPS kind of where it is from your job or from your home or wherever you're planning to go. And make sure you have your valid ID to go and vote, and that you're aware of your polling locations. I think that people in their minds say, yes, I'm going to vote, but you really don't know when. Like, my plan is to vote on the first day of early voting. I already have the location I'm going to. I already have the ID that I'm taking with me. That's a valid ID that is accepted by the registrar's office. And so I'm already aware of that. I think it's big for people to check the voting rolls, because a lot of people are being taken off. They think they're registered, but they're not. So my main advice is to have a plan, and that involves from top to bottom, checking your registration, to having the right ID, and picking your polling place and date and time that you're going. Because, foot traffic, especially during these times, you may not want to be there when it's the most popular times at the voting poll. You may want to be there when it's less traffic. So just mapping things out, what you plan to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree. So when you decided that you were getting out of the military, what advice would you give to someone who is deciding that they wanted to get out, especially with OCS, with being an officer? What advice would you give them when getting out?
I guess, again, to have a plan. What is your plan once you get out? What do you want to do career-wise? What do you see yourself doing next? Because you want to have something lined up, and not that you have idle time in between. I'm not saying don't take a break, because sometimes you need a break between the transition, but you have to have a plan in place. If that's additional education, if that's a specific job you want to go after, that you're applying for and interviewing for and making contacts to get to those places, So as you prepare to separate or get out of the military, begin to build those relationships in the area that you believe you want to go in, and just start taking steps towards that, spending time with individuals who work in that field, spending time at the places where you get experience in that field, and begin the process of even possibly getting hired before you're separated, and go to your interview and get the job.
Good advice. Definitely good advice. So before we wrap things up, let everybody know where they're able to find you.
I'm on the Harris County website. If you Google Harris County judges, I will come up on that. But the website is County Court at Law .hctx.net. I'm there. My website is hughesforjudge.com. As I plan to run for a second term, I'm there. I'm on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as Hughes for Judge or Judge Erica Hughes. So you can look me up on those mediums, and I will definitely be your friend on those mediums because I think the page is public. Just so you can see what's going on in Veterans Court and Court 3, and what's going on with the campaign as well. And I do post general information. I'm not on this election cycle, but like you said, I posted about voter registration. I'll be posting about early voting and voting. So just giving information that people need or should know about in Harris County.
Awesome. Again, thank you so much for everything that you do for us as veterans and everything. You'll be able to find me on Facebook and Instagram at the Melanated Veteran, and check out our website at www.themelanatedveteran.com. I'm your host, Miss Mesha, signing off, saying embrace what makes you, you.